As I was walking out of Walmart the other night, I saw a man and his 10-year-old boy dressed in camouflage, they were. And so as I walked by him, I said, "What was you hunting and did you get any?" And they said, "Well, we was hunting deer and nothing got close enough." He said he saw some nice sized doe though. He'd like to have got a chance at shooting with his bow and arrow. You bet. And he said that doe meat sure tastes a lot better than buck meat, and I can't argue that fact. But with that, seeing him, that is a good time to kick off and start talking about hunter safety for everyone, not just for the young people. Hunter safety. I helped teach it a number of years here in McCook. But I would go beyond just the safety around handling any kind of a weapon, from a bow to the most sophisticated firearms that you can imagine. Always assume they're loaded, always consider them dangerous and not to be played with. Absolutely. And always wear eye protection and ear protection. But I would go beyond that. I said I'd go beyond that. Because for every person killed in a hunting accident, over 1,000 have problems with law enforcement. Now, in the hunting lines, they'll give you a little pamphlet like this for basic hunting laws. Very basic, and far from all of them. You'd need an encyclopedia to cover all of the laws that most states have, including the federal government. Absolutely, on hunting and firearms. And so with that in mind, don't just assume that this covers everything. So what you need to do is to understand and ask yourself what can go wrong. And the best way to do that is to talk to hunters and ask them their experiences and find out what went wrong when they went hunting, or why did they have trouble with law enforcement. Now, it might be as simple as hunting on land that you thought you had permission to hunt on, only to find out that someone else owned that ground. Or perhaps you're shooting the wrong sex of a given species. Perhaps it's the wrong size. All these things can get you into a bucket of trouble. But even more than that, I tell of the young gentleman that went hunting out here by the lake near McCook. He had got out of his car with his shotgun to hunt pheasant. He took the shotgun and loaded it and set it on the car, outside of the car, and he was putting on his snake chaps, because there's a lot of rattlesnakes in this area, I'm here to tell you, especially in high weeds, where he was going to try to jump out a pheasant. Game warden came up and he said, "Is that gun loaded?" And the guy said, "Yeah, it is." And so he said, "Well, I'm going to charge you for having a loaded gun in the car." In the car. And he said, "Wait a minute, it's sitting on the outside." Doesn't matter if it's touching the car, it's illegal to have a loaded gun, even on the outside. Or if you had it sitting on the hood, it's against the law. Absolutely. And so that kid was fined almost $200. All kinds of laws out there that can bite you. Do you know them all? And if you don't, you might want to study up some, and at the very least talk to other hunters and see how they got in trouble, so you don't have to get in trouble, and follow their lead and learn from their mistake rather than to pay very dearly for your own mistakes. This is McCook's Mr. Bill saying it's time to hunt, enjoy the hunt, but never forget, if you go hunting, you're going to be hunted, not only by the game and parks, but any law enforcement can come after you. Have a good day.